Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I take a look at all the new comic books coming out on either December 20th or 21st, 2022, and I ask myself the question, what one new comic book would I buy this week if I could buy just one book? Notice the emphasis on I. This is another personal choice this week, but I've got a few different books that I want to mention to you to put on your radar that might interest you. Usually I start off these videos by talking about my pick from 2 weeks ago, but I didn't make a video 2 weeks ago. My pick from 2 weeks ago would have been Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 1, and I can't tell you about my thoughts about it because I haven't read it yet, although I do have some time off right now, and I'm really looking forward to diving into all the comic books that I have lapsed on reading. So maybe we'll talk about it more in the future, probably not. Let's go ahead and move forward and talk about the books that are coming out this week. Now, I have 4 books that I'm buying that I'm going to save for the last 4 books that I mentioned. I'm going to start off with some honorable mentions that I have this week. My first honorable mention is a new book called Road Trip to Hell, issue number 1 from Scout Comics. Here's the description. Francis Rhodes has had a life full of hardship, but things get even worse when he learns that his father is Satan himself. Now aware of his heritage, Francis quickly discovers his father has died and named him the new king of hell. The catch? All the damned have escaped from hell. If one of them can kill Francis before he can reach the netherworld himself, that soul will become the new leader of hell. With the demonic legions in pursuit, Francis will need to rely on his own special power to survive, along with an angelic ally sent by God themselves. Okay, so at first I read this description and I was like, meh. And I saw the art style and I saw it was kind of an animation art style and I was like, nah. But then I thought about it and I was like, you know what? This might actually make a pretty entertaining story. You find out that your father is Satan and Satan is dead, and so now it's your responsibility or honor, or who knows, to rule over hell. But you have to get there before somebody kills you from hell. That could be entertaining, that could be fun, and guess what I'm looking for in comic books? Fun and entertaining. So if you are looking to try something new this week and this sounds like an interesting idea, maybe you might want to consider picking it up. The next book I want to mention to you is Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, issue number 7 of 7. This is, it says on the cover, Dawn of the DCU. Well, here's the description. The great darkness is defeated, but the final war has only just begun between the remaining heroes and Deathstroke's dark army. Who will be left standing? The Justice League and the Infinite Earths have returned, but at what cost? Do not miss the shocking conclusion that launches the DCU into 2023. Okay, so I mentioned this book because, as the description implies, this sets up what is going to be taking place in the DCU in 2023. So if you're a fan of DC Comics and you haven't been reading this series, you might consider picking this up if you want some hints, some leads on what it looks like is going to be coming from the DCU in 2023. It also has a ton of great covers. And that's worth noting as well. So basically this is just, if you're a DC fan, something that you might want to have on your radar. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book. It is called The Bones of the Gods, issue number 1 of a 6-issue limited series from Scout Comics. Here's the description. Scout launches its latest high fantasy title. 20 years after an epic battle between the world's 2 gods, civilization has re-emerged from the ashes of that confrontation. The gods destroyed each other during the epic fight, their shattered bones raining down below. It is said that these bone shards contain incredible power, if you can find one, if they even really exist. Esper Haddon is 16 years old and frustrated with her life. She's the daughter of a protective warrior turned farmer, but she wishes for something, anything exciting to happen. However, after she discovers the bone of a god buried on her farm and dark forces come hunting for her, she may soon regret that wish. This is another one that at first I wasn't so sure on, but then I thought about it some more and I'm like, okay, maybe that's interesting. It's about a young girl in a world that's, I guess, of peace and prosperity, which she finds particularly boring. It sounds pretty good to me. And she wants adventure, and adventure comes calling when she finds one of these pieces of a bone from one of these gods. Could be interesting, could be entertaining. If you're looking for something interesting and entertaining and you want to try this out, it sounds interesting and entertaining to you, you might want to consider picking it up this week. The next book I want to mention to you is another new book. It is called Dead Seas, issue number 1 from IDW Publishing. Here's the description. Ghosts are real and dangerous, but they're also valuable. They're ectoplasm capable of curing countless diseases. There's only one problem. Harvesting the wonder drug can be just as deadly. Prisoner Gus Ortiz is willing to take the risk in return for a reduced sentence. Anything to see his daughter again. All it will take is a few months at sea scraping ectoplasm off the walls of the Perdition, a floating prison containing the most vicious ghosts on Earth. Surrounded by dark waters, Gus soon realizes that angry spirits are the least of his worries. The Poseidon adventure meets the haunting of Hill House in this supernatural thriller. Okay, also another one that sounds potentially exciting and interesting after some reflection. At first, it's got the trope of a prisoner who wants to shorten his sentence so that he can see his daughter, and so he's going to do something rather extreme. We've seen those type of stories before, but I don't think we've seen stories about guys scraping ectoplasm off the walls of ships infested with deadly ghosts. That's a new one, so that could be entertaining. That could be fun. So if that sounds interesting and fun to you, you might consider picking it up. It's also written by Cavan Scott. Cavan Scott wrote, if my memory serves me correctly, Star Wars: The High Republic, which I enjoyed. So he's a good writer. So from a writer perspective, there's some there. So might be something worth checking out. All right, we're going to get into now the 4 books that I am buying this week. The first one is technically a new book. I think it's a one-shot. I'm not sure. It's the Department of Truth Wild Fictions Special. Here's the description. An extra-length issue reprint that pairs together the popular The Department of Truth 10 and The Department of Truth 11 issues, because the hunt for Bigfoot never really ends. Okay, so as this mentioned, it is going to be combining issues number 10 and 11 of the Department of Truth, which was about a hunt for Bigfoot. They were very good and definitely worth reading. So if you didn't read them and you're into this kind of thing at all, James Tynion IV, Martin Simmons art, all of these wonderful things, you might consider picking this up this week. The extra special reason to pick it up is this cover here from Martin Simmons. In the month of December, Image Comics is basically doing variants for all of their titles that feature Spawn. And this is the one that they're doing for this book. And it is featuring this amazing art by Martin Simmons. It is super fantastic. I already own Department of Truth issues number 10 and 11. I don't know what extra bonus content is going to be in there, but I guess I'm curious about it a little bit. I don't know if I was curious enough about it that I would pick it up, but for this cover, I'm going to pick it up. I just want to have this in my collection. I'm not even a Spawn fan. I just think it's really, really good. So if you're a Spawn fan, I think this is a must-have. If you're a Department of Truth fan, this might be worth picking up for the extra content and for the collection. This also might be teeing up a thing that James Tynion IV was doing with his Substack, where he had these wild fictions, which were basically essays on different types of monsters like aliens and ghosts and chupacabra and lizard people and all these different kind of conspiracy kind of creatures, even fairies and stuff like that. they did these little essays on them. I don't know if any of those essays will be included in this, or if this is teeing up a book that will come out at some point collecting all those essays. But anyways, there are a few reasons to pick this up potentially if you fall into certain specific categories. So yeah, wanted to put it on your radar. The next book I'm picking up this week is Vanish, issue number 4 from Image Comics. Here's the description. End of story arc. Oliver goes to war with Battery while Deacon and Halcyon clash. The Prestige is attacking from all sides as their master plan begins to take shape, and a few jaw-dropping revelations pop up along the way. It's an all-out battle of mystic savagery that sets up our next arc coming at you in March 2023. Okay, so I told myself I was going to buy the first 3 issues of Vanish and then make a decision about whether or not I was going to keep it. I have done that. And I basically had made the decision that I was not going to continue with Vanish. Not because it's bad, but because unless I really, really like something these days, I'm not going to stick with it. I'm trying to keep my comic book buying to a minimum. My new comic book buying, at least. Well, all comic book buying, but especially my new comic book buying. But because this is the final issue in this arc, which was 4 issues, that's an interesting kind of size for arc, unusual I should say. I'm going to go ahead and pick up issue number 4. If something happens in issue number 4 that blows my mind and makes me think, oh, wow, that's cool, I need to keep buying this, I'll pick up issue number 5. If issue number 4 is just more of what I've enjoyed from Vanish, but not enough to keep me going with Vanish, then issue number 4 will be the last issue of Vanish that I pick up. Another book I'm picking up this week is Berserker, issue number 11 of a 12-issue limited series from Boom Studios. Here's the description. A vicious battle returns us to where it all began. It's cult forces versus black ops as B travels to the metaphysical blue plane with Diana's help. And as the series approaches an explosive close, is B finally near the end of his fatal goal, or will his violent efforts be in vain? The mind-blowing ending of this epic blockbuster series is nearly here. Okay, so this is the penultimate issue of, meaning the second to last, issue of Berserker. Berserker's been entertaining. I always knew I was going to see it through to the end, and so I'm going to be picking up issue number 11, and then of course issue number 12 when that comes out. I'm excited to see how it ends, because it has been entertaining and interesting enough for me to see it through and to retain interest, not just see it through because. I'm actually interested in knowing how the story ends. So I'm looking forward to issue number 11 and issue number 12 that will be coming out probably in a month. And finally, that brings us to the one book that I would buy this week if I could buy just one book. And if you know what's coming out this week, you already know what this book is going to be. The book is Something is Killing the Children, issue number 27 from Boom Studios. Here's the description. Leaving death and tragedy in her wake, a grief-burdened Erica hunts for the terrifying Duplicitype. With nothing left to lose and seemingly no one in her corner, Erica is faced with a choice to reach out to an unexpected source of help or find herself dealing with both a monster and her human enemies alone. Okay, so Something is Killing the Children has been doing something recently that I like, and that is that they're raising the stakes for Erica. And the first story arc, the first 15 issues, she had a monster and some babies that she had to fight. Now she has a new type of monster that she has to fight, but now she also has, in addition, a human monster to fight who is frightening. And so she has to protect herself and protect this town from the monster, but then also protect herself from this human representative from the House of Slaughter who is there to basically put her down. This is really raising the stakes for her. The character, the human character who's going after her is the character Cutter. Cutter seems like a really cool character and one that is not a flash and in the pan enemy, meaning coming and going quickly for Erica. I think this is going to be a character for Erica that is going to be a nemesis that is going to be around for a long, long time, and a worthy and worthwhile nemesis. So this is a week where there's nothing really super crazy exciting. I mean, it's the week before Christmas. I didn't expect this to be an amazing week for comic books, but there are some decent things to consider this week. But for me, because I love Something is Killing the Children so much, because I love James Tynion IV so much, because Something is Killing the Children continues to deliver for me, and not only deliver, but in some ways, I think there's so much potential there, and I think that they're starting to tap into that potential, so I'm really excited to see how that potential comes to fruition. So for all of those reasons, the one book that I would buy, if I could buy just one book this week, just one new book, that book is Something is Killing the Children, issue number 27. All right, that's my video. If you liked it, likes are appreciated by me. If you haven't already subscribed, I invite you to do so. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.